Hmm.
Zoot looks over toward you. Do you look perplexed? Does Patrick look perplexed at this point?
Yes.
New Zoot
He,
pauses for a second, says, hmm. New Zoot says, Monkey. New Zoot, Sparkle. But after Dormant hibernate. Because New Zoot, no crackle. New Zoot's so crackly, he says, and he makes gestures like he's getting kind of sleepy. But he
ah,
says, but New Zoot, New Zoot. Hmm? And he pauses for a second, and he says something in some strange alien tongue, which you do not recognize, and all of a sudden he disappears from sight from Al, Byrne, and Mila. But Patrick, you still see him there, giving his little weird smile.
What? Where the hell
all
did he
right.
go?
Did he just
What the
turn
hell?
invisible?
He's
He was
he's
never
right
here to
there.
begin with.
Oh, and then he'll like lift up the goggles.
I like that Patrick's like, no, he's right. Oh.
And yeah, as you lift up the goggles, Newzoot's gone.
All right. Um.
I could picture like after that, Al's like, what do you mean? Oh. Like just a whole chain of O's.
Um.
I seem to recall a witch slaying that would have given us less trouble if we had
Whoop.
something like this.
Yep.
Um. And he will hand he Patrick will clap and then
Ooh, how many times?
Probably twice,
Oh,
just
okay.
because I think is a reaction.
So you clap twice, and then Newzoot pauses for a moment, and then you hear a clap sound as he's still very invisible to everyone else.
All right. And he will relieve his head of the goggles and hand it back towards Zoot.
Okay. You see the goggles kind of hover in the air as the price tag is now flipped towards you. As you see, it reads 40,000 credits plus, and it looks like a stick figure of someone doing a cartwheel.
Oh, Mila does the cartwheel. Well, I'll roll to do a cartwheel.
Okay.
Hang on. She fails. She falls on her
Wow.
face.
And
Wow.
you hear a disembodied voice say, "Monkey, monkey, no gorilla,
Al,
poor monkey."
Al will try and do a cartwheel. What would
Okay.
I roll? Sense of balance or?
Yeah.
I got
just
backflip.
make
Would
sure
that
you
work better? Or?
don't- Yeah, it's like a re-inverted backflip.
Okay.
Add 10% to your backflip roll.
Okay. So then I need to get a 60% because it's 70%. So.
There you go. And
Oh,
then you hear say, gorilla, good drawer, good drawer. Okay.
Mila's just sitting on the ground. I can't believe I fell.
And now you're dead. No, just kidding.
For a new character.
Anyway. All right. So with that, a disembodied cred stick comes out of nowhere, as it is thrust towards. I'm assuming Patrick was paying the last time, so it's thrust toward Patrick again.
Oh. Since Al did it, he'll shrug and put in his the cred stick.
By the way, I should make sure. Burn. Okay, you are keeping track.
Yes,
Good,
I am.
good. Just making sure
How
we're
much
burning
is
through a
this
lot of
one?
cash, and I want to make sure that we're fair about it.
45.
45. Gotcha.
Okay. So, so the goggles are put into your possession as you hear a disembodied voice say, now drink long, long cup. New Zoot, good gorillas, happy, happy picnic time. And during that happy, happy picnic time, you hear his voice head towards his front counter where he was. and you see a card lift up into the air, a simple little business card that simply says New Zoot, and that has a bunch of times listed on it as he gives each of you one of these cards. And it says New Zoot, and then the times are like from 1 p.m. to 1:45 p.m., from 6:30 p.m. to 7:45 p.m., from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., and from 6 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. And with that, you hear his disembodied voice say, "Monkeys, happy all time. Carpet, match drapes." And then
Oh
you
my God.
and then you hear, and then his voice kind of fades away as it goes into the back room.
Well, that was fun.
Wonder what these times are for. What time is it right
Probably
now?
when he's.
It
open.
is 1:44.
Oh, these are when he's open. We just
Oh.
got lucky.
Yeah, we did.
So we should probably get going.
We should. We've got a lot of testing to do.
You do. He wasn't very explanatory.
No, it was not.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Bless him.
Well,
Not that he
He
didn't
isn't.
try.
We do have another techno wizard who actually knows things.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank, but which one?
The one that we helped out of the storm.
oh, Zacharias. Yes.
Yeah. There's also a few other actual techno wizards in New Laszlo, if I recall correctly.
You.
I could be wrong.
correctly. No, you do recall completely correctly.
So
Yeah, so-
maybe our next stop is another one of those techno wizards.
Yeah, this stuff is cool, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, is there a and I guess I would ask Patrick or just ask out of character, is there a place where you can go and pay a certain amount of money to get things identified?
I don't think Patrick would know that.
I'll just tell you because that's a in character, out of character type of thing. Identification isn't like Dungeons and Dragons, where like it's a divination spell and they figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, if it's something magical, you want to go to someone who knows a lot about that stuff. And if you don't know, if you can't find someone who knows a lot about that stuff, then you test it yourself or you hire someone else to test it. So it's not like, so it's not like they cast a spell and they know everything there is about it, right? It's more like they look at the foundations of it. So if you brought it over to another techno wizard, he might be able to figure out what it does. But a lot of times with a lot of magical stuff, you just have to kind of know or like learn as you go. Like very similar to what Patrick had to do when he came across that ring in the
Right.
Witchling's lair. He had to just do a little bit of testing, and then he figured it out.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys, as a group, do you guys want to try and find someone, or do you want to just go back and test ourselves?
The chance to run into more of this technology, yes. Thank you.
Understood.
This is cool stuff.
It is.
Okay. All right. So the other two places that New Laszlo reads, there's the Blind Adventurer and Radioactive. Radioactive is less of a store and more of an open garage. And it seems to be specified in converting power-based systems to run on a magic source instead. But the Blind Adventurer seems to create various gizmos out of techno wizardry, and it is called the Blind Adventurer. So you think perhaps it pertains more to you, but you can visit either of the place if you want. But
Let's try Blind Adventure
Uh,
first.
okay.
Yeah, radioactive seems like a place to like have things checked out. Plus, I might want to actually go to radioactive eventually.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, converting my motorcycle to run on ISP would be awesome.
It would. I
Yeah.
concur. I concur. So, all right. So you head over to the Blind Adventurer, in which you come across the salesperson there. It is a sturdy pine store. And it has looks like about 3 separate employees there, including one of them that Patrick might recognize as the young fellow who delivered that message via that gem to him in the previous week. But as you enter, it is very unassuming. Unlike New Zoot, there aren't really items that are displayed. It's more of a one-on-one kind of a consultation with a techno-wizard. And you come across a fellow named Aldolfo. He's dark, wavy hair, a big, pearly white smile. And he says, I don't think I've recognized you before, but if you stopped in, my apologies. Welcome to the Blind Adventurer. My name's Aldolfo. How can I help you?
Or is it anybody?
Huh?
Pardon me?
I was talking out of character. I was like, did anybody have anything that they wanted to?
Yeah.
You're here
I
for a
know that.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
Al would say yes. Well, there are a couple of things. But first, let's start with this. Do you offer as the services of if we've acquired some techno wizard artifacts? Do you offer some sort of service to maybe try and help us figure out exactly what they do?
No, most certainly. We do offer just a simple 100 credit charge to take a look at the item. And if we are unable to help you, then we just give it right back. If, however, we are able to identify exactly its function, then that's an additional charge of 500 credits.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
And then Al will turn to Patrick and say, Patrick, which one of these do you want to learn on your own?
Probably this orb. The goggles. I would really like to know the spectrum they can see in.
Okay. So why don't we try and see if they can look at the charm, the glove, and the goggles, and then...
Okay.
You might not want to have them look at the glove.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't think we are supposed to be carrying around the glove, to be
Oh.
honest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. The goggles, the charm, the silver... No, we pretty much figured the silver bar out.
The speak talk stick thing.
We pretty
I
much
wanna know
figured
if
that
we
one
figured
out,
that
though.
one out.
Yeah, we pretty
Well,
much...
I want to know specifically what it does.
All right. So those 3.
Okay, excellent. He takes a look at them and he frowns a little moment and he says, just one moment. I just have to consult with a few of the other fellows here. And he goes into the back and about 10 minutes later comes out and he returns the items to you and he says, I'm going to waive the 100 credit charge. I'm afraid, although you say they're techno wizardry, and we definitely do sense some sort of magic alteration upon it, this is an alien technology. We have absolutely no idea how this stuff is configured. We couldn't even hazard a guess. Where did you find it?
New Zoot?
Oh, and he rolls his eyes and he goes, I don't understand why he is in business. Very, very strange. I would recommend for any other future purchases that you might come here where we can communicate properly and we have a guarantee on the quality of our merchandise.
Al nods and says, I understand the wisdom in that, but there's also a wisdom in finding the unknown.
Well, as long as it doesn't blow up in your face, you're absolutely right.
Al nods sagely. And Al says, then the next question would be, we spend a lot of time traveling, and obviously you know as well as anyone else that the world out there is a bit dangerous. And I personally, I know my colleagues may be interested in other things, but there are times when I cannot get in or out of body armor, or it doesn't work well for me. I was wondering if you have any sort of protection, maybe something lighter.
Oh, yes, we most certainly do. We do have amulets of armor. We have 3 of them on sale. We have 3 of them available right now. I do have to give you a heads up, though. Although a lot of our equipment here does require some sort of magical talent or sometimes a psychic talent in which to energize, these things require no such thing. Therefore, since anyone can use them and they're in high demand, they are rather pricey, but I can definitely happily show you. And he takes over. It's a small, well, it's a talisman. It looks like it's made out of some burnished copper. It has a small gem inside and a tiny little five-pointed star on the inside. And he says, this should be able to protect you from, I don't really know what the comparison is, but let's just say if someone blasted you with a laser cannon, this would protect you for at least 5 or 6 blasts. And he gives a bit of a smile. And out of character, I can tell you, because he can communicate with you.
Right.
He knows what the hell he's talking about. So give me just 2 seconds as I look up the exact specifications for this talisman of armor. Give me just 1 moment here, folks. I'm sorry I didn't have the page open beforehand, but I am a fool. All right.
Picnic basket.
Picnic time.
Picnic
time. All right. Where are you? Magic. There we go. So it can. All right. So it can protect 100 MDC, but it costs 10 million credits.
Oh my god.
The cost is so high because the MDC renews perpetually.
Exactly what does that mean?
It can be activated 3 times a day and recharges on its own every 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a bit out of my price range. Is that the lowest one?
Unfortunately, it is, sir. Are you yourself magically gifted?
I would like to be.
Oh.
Al says sadly.
He gives a sympathetic look and says, "We are able to enchant even clothing items with a spell that we call Armor of Ithin, which can create a variety of range of protection, which can definitely is much, much lower than 10 million credits. But unfortunately, they're useless if you're unable to put in some sort of psychic or magical energy in them."
Al nods sadly. I understand.
And Aldolfo says, the university here in New Laszlo is very good at taking new students who are interested in learning the mystical arts. Perhaps you would think of enrolling then.
I would love to. Unfortunately, we travel often, so that would be an option.
I'm so sorry, sir. And I'm very sorry we weren't able to identify these, but like I said, very, very alien. And I would have to caution you from Newzoot's products. Not to say anyone has hurt anybody, but most people leave confused for a reason. So just be careful, I suppose.
Al will nod.
It's a friendly smile.
And then he'll turn to everyone else and say, or actually he'll stop and go, actually, well, let's see. Then he'll turn to everyone else and see if there's anything you guys want. So he's not taking up all the time.
No, I'm fine.
You
I mean,
don't want anything from the...
I just want to see what they got because
Yeah, that's what I was going
Stuff
to say.
that
Well,
we-
I can,
yeah.
then I can just not necessarily in character, but out of character. In the riffs, here, give me a second. I'm just going to copy and paste this because I have this in here. Here, Techno Wizardry, the power supplies. I'll copy and paste it to you. And features that can be added to body, armor, and vehicles. All this stuff can be done, and the prices are all listed. Okay?
All right.
So
Yeah, that
here's the
sounds
thing.
great.
This is kind of huge. So I'm putting this at the very end of the table of contents for the Rifts group loot. And I don't know, we can find another Word document or something later on. But there it is. It's like 6 pages long, so peruse it. And you guys can buy it, like I said, in between sessions. You don't have to browse for it now. We can retcon it if, like, next session or the session after, even though you're outside New Laszlo, we can say you got this. So,
Alrighty.
All right.
just to save us some session time here, eh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounds good.
Okay,
Sounds
great.
fine, yeah.
All right, great. So that's all that. So Pam's gonna be so confused. She's gonna be like, she's like, "Well, what's all this Techno Wizard stuff? I don't have all this, do I?" And we're like, "No,
things.
no."
I just like hold up an orb, shining, and just burst into flames.
There you go. So I copy pasted that. So there you are. So would we say shopping is done, or is there anything else you guys, or even just want to inquire to me so I can answer some questions to you, and you can shop at your leisure? That's at some point in the future.
I just do one question. It'll say physical requirements. So if this is something that needs some sort of magical talent, it will tell us, right?
Wait, say that again, sorry?
If the list you just gave us,
Yeah.
like if it needs magical talent of any kind, it will let us know. So like I can just read this and know.
Actually, they all, you can read it, but
Okay.
they all require magical talent.
Oh well then.
The activation cost for all of them is PPE, or ISP.
Oh well then. Nah.
So it's really only of interest to Tom right now.
Right.
Until
Okay.
you learn.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then.
Mm.
I'm good to go.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Pretty
good.
much.
But see, it's too bad because that amulet is exactly what you're looking for. But
no, but I
it's
honestly,
actually more in the book, and I dialed down the price a little bit. But
well, I completely like out of character. I completely understand. I mean, most people wear body armor for a reason, and I don't think it
Yeah.
should be too easy or too quick for Al to just give that up and start
Yeah.
wandering around in his long john. So yeah,
yeah. Okay, cool.
I look at it as a
glad you understand that.
long-term goal type of thing. Yeah.
For surezies. So that is that. All right. So if shopping is over, what else would you guys like to do in New Laszlo over the next couple days?
Oh, there is one thing we do have to do that reminds me. We need to find a tutor.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. We need to go and visit the Golden Palaces thing.
The House of the Golden Places. Yes.
Yes.
Or specifically Trudalt, because Trudalt said he would give you a list of some people that he would know within a
Yeah.
day, and it's definitely been a day for sure.
Oh, definitely.
So you're able to go to the Blue Hammock and meet with him, and he is I was gonna say he gives you 3 names of individuals, and let me just bring that up here real quick. He after some small chat and just to touch base with you guys, he does he says the person I would recommend the most is a fellow named Yandi Andi Atamadia, or also just Yandi. He works at the volunteer fire department, but he's actually going to be leaving in the next few days. It's very coincidental. I haven't told him exactly the details, but I did mention that there were some people traveling, and and they were looking for a tutor. And he said if things matched up with him, he'd be happy to help out as a personal favor to me. I know Yandy, he's very, very trustworthy, and I think he's your best bet. But like I said, he doesn't have all the details, so it's probably best if you head over to the volunteer fire department. He's there until 6 o'clock tonight, and before he packs up, and just have a chat with him. He pauses for a moment. He says, if for whatever reason things with Yandi don't work out, or you're looking for alternatives, I did ask around. Now, these 2 names are not my personal recommendations. In fact, I know nothing about either of these individuals. It was just what I heard, ears to the ground. Both of these have a mercenary nature to them, and based on the establishment where you can find them, I don't think I need to caution you too badly about their reputations or their honesty. But the first is a woman named Elise Cola. She's a fairly attractive ley line walker who's very young, but is known to be very, he pauses for a moment, friendly towards people, especially men. So she might be willing to teach you and perhaps travel. She is new to the city, so it wouldn't be hard to fathom that she is not planning on staying here permanently. And he pauses for a moment and he says, "The last is a fellow named Lee Stooks. He has been a bit of a washout here in New Laszlo. He used to be a shifter for a while, but unfortunately he's hit the bottle. He's always looking for additional work. I don't know how reliable he is, but his situation might make him interested in teaching." And
Al
even
shakes his head.
Mhm.
Holy.
You know, Mr. Stokes?
You could say that, yes.
Oh. Oh. Is by the look on your face, I imagine that the rumors I heard were very, very accurate.
Let me put it this way. I would trust him with my life in a life or death situation. I'm not sure I would trust him to teach me magic.
I will trust you to your own opinions of the man. I don't know him, like I said.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. This means very, very much to me. Thank you.
No, well, thank you for your understanding with our previous situation a few days ago. I'm glad it. He looks over to Patrick and he says, "I'm glad that we have a new member, and I'm glad everything was resolved."
Speaking of, I've picked up a few interesting little gadgets and things like that. And he'll pull out a few, I guess he'll pull out the blue orb
Mm-hmm.
and show him. I went to a shop recently
Mm-hmm.
and found some pretty interesting items, and I got a good idea about how majority of them work. But a few of them I'm still a little hazy. Do you know anything about the news? Is the shop just called New Zoo?
Yeah, it is. New Zoot, he says. Oh, that's... I can't say I've ever been in there before. All I know is that this fellow is a techno wizard of sorts, and he doesn't communicate very well. He looks over to the orb itself and he says, "I take it he didn't tell you exactly what this did."
He did, but it was a bit on the oblique side, let's just say.
I see. He says, "Well, to be honest with you, Patrick, just looking at it, I wouldn't know. I don't certainly recognize it. I would need to do some research on my own and maybe some hands-on study, but that would take about a week for me to really, maybe a week, hopefully just that, in order to decipher it. But
As far as I can tell you what it does, and that I believe it works through a word activation, and it breaks apart into lights and then another activation word to form back into an orb.
okay. So perhaps it's used as some sort of strange light source. Does the dust settle on the ground, or does it cling to everything?
Seems to cling.
Well, lights that cling, I do know of other items. It's strange. It's very similar to what pixie fairies sometimes use, which is a fairy dust that's used to identify hidden individuals and to light up the darkness. Maybe it's something like that.
That would be pretty useful. I sort of remember what he said, but I was hoping to maybe have more of a simplistic, or at least something that was more exact.
He pauses and he says, "That I cannot help you with. A command word? I have no idea. Command words could be words to noises to gestures. I'm sorry. You'd have to ask him."
All right.
Right.
I would say the only one that I'm actually specifically interested are these, and I pull out goggles, and I have having the hardest time figuring out what this does. But apparently, he turned invisible to everyone else, but I could see him through these goggles. I have no. It doesn't seem to change anything else about vision. Just that.
Oh,
At least from what I've tested.
you said it then. It allows an individual to see the invisible. It wouldn't be surprised me if that sort of enchantment was put upon it.